Hey everybody, this is a dual purpose video. I shoot videos every week for my shop, crippleconcepts.com, and I've decided to sell off an injection molding machine that I bought a few years ago. This nice beast in the back. It's a Moslo HC75 Minijector. I bought this originally to make the housings for the USB chargers we sell, and it'd been sitting for years when I bought it. Had to redo the hydraulic lines, fix the seal on the hydraulic pump, but overall it was in good shape. The castings are solid. This in theory could be a really nice machine. It just didn't work for me. The style of the molds, they're bigger than what I need. They're difficult for me to get to. This base right here goes all the way to the ground, and while it's not very big, it's only about 30 by 18, I believe, are the dimensions. So pretty small. 30 by 18 space is pretty small. I can't get under it with my chair, and so I'm constantly like leaning to the side. For those watching this that are checking us out my eBay sale on this, I'm quadriplegic, so I don't have hand use. I use a power chair. I put this pneumatic ram on it. I was going to rig that up to run the clamping mechanism up and down. I actually don't know that it had enough power anyway, and I never did rig that up. I'll sell it for less if you don't want that. I'll use that on another project. I'm actually going to build my own injection molder off of what I learned the hard way on this one. I'm going to build something much smaller that fits on my bench top. That's very similar to what LNS Technology sells in their manual bench top pull down the lever model, which is what I used back when I was in high school to make little golf tees. I'm just going to build something small like that, only with a pneumatic ram that actually runs it. Maybe a hydraulic, but probably pneumatic ram. That'll just do the shot size I need. That'll make the little charger housings for our chargers that we sell. It's been a plastic week anyway. I did some parts for my buddy Corey over at Insane Fab. These are some Delrin parts. Did these actually on my little lathe and my mill. Here's the other side. It's kind of a little ball and receiver. So it's kind of a plastic week at Cripple Concepts. And I originally told Corey I couldn't do these because I didn't think I could handle the girth. They're 3-inch, and I don't have a chuck for my dynamite lathe that'll handle that. So I ended up having to put my chuck back on my little sky lathe and made those. But anyway, back to the injection molder. This thing is a nice machine. It can be a nice machine in somebody's garage shop, low production work. It wasn't right for me. I had more into it than I'm going to get out of it, but I've learned a lot in the process, like I say. I'm going to tip the camera back once so you can see. It's got a pretty tall hydraulic ram on the top of it. Let's see if I can get far enough back. There we go. That's what actually runs the plunger on the hydraulic, or on the heated barrel where the plastic actually is injected. I added this tube. Let's bring it in the shot. I added this tube here, piece of aluminum tubing that's bent. I was going to put a hopper on that would dump down, and then that goes into the factory little funnel that funnels it down into the barrel itself. I replaced the band heater on the barrel itself. It wasn't having luck getting it hot enough. It had a really old oven control that was falling apart on it. I put this is a Love Controls DZ or 32 DZ controller. If you don't want that and these relays that are part of that system, I'll knock a couple $100 off the price I have it on eBay for. If you want to go back to the old style, just analog switch, I'll use this controller on my new machine. If you do want it, then if you do the buy it now price, you get that with it. Down at the bottom is a hydraulic pump. It's nothing exciting. I don't think I can get a good shot of it. Just basic, simple hydraulic pump. It does run off a 220. It's not a 110 unit, so you'd have to have 220 to run this thing. Super solid castings. The clamping mechanism, I'll jump to the clamping mechanism video here. Open. And then you're going to close one more time. Closed. Alright, so you just saw how the clamping mechanism works up and down. This is the plate that slides. One half of the mold mounts there. This is the rigid backside. One half of the mold mounts there. There's little notches here with threads back here, so you can actually do an injector pin setup on it, that every time it comes back it ejects. You set the clamping force with some tensioning bolts back here to slide where the pivot basically goes off of. I was using, if I remember right, it was 2 inches on one side and 2.5 inches on the other side, the thickness of my molds. So this will handle a pretty big mold, 4 inch by 5 inch. I believe it was 4 inch by 5 inch. It's all listed in my eBay ad. But it was, I believe, a 4 inch by 5 inch mold that fits in here. And I believe when I figured out the shot size, it's a 1.6 or 1.8 ounce shot size. It's 3/4 of an inch diameter cylinder by about 6 inches tall. So if you're familiar with the LNS Technologies hand operated ones, this is very similar in size to that, but the capacity and tonnage is way bigger because obviously you can apply a lot more pressure with a hydraulic ram than you can hanging off the end of a lever. Those things sell for $1,800 brand new. I get this for $1,500 on eBay. That's what I have it listed for. I have more than that into it, not including my time and friends' time helping piece this thing together. But I learned. I'm going to say lesson learned, and I just want to bail out of this for what I got into it, and just get some cash to put into my new project, and build something that actually works for me and get this just out of the corner. So I'll jump to some video of the temperature gauge working. I'm heating it up right now. I'm going to show you just a shot of shooting some plastic through it so you know that the heater works and it squirts out a nice steady stream. I don't know what more to say to it. I'll actually, before I jump to the video of the injector working, I'll try to get the camera position so I can show you the controls on the front side, because it's pretty simple to control. So here's the controls on the front of the machine. You basically got 3 controls there. You got an on-off switch. You have the big, what looks like a faucet handle in the middle, and that controls the injection pressure, regulates pressure on the hydraulic ram. And then you have this lever, which has some slop just because it's not a good pin here. This actually runs the hydraulic ram. So one way is down on the ram, and one is retract on the ram. So it's that simple. That runs just to a rod that runs inside of here, and I'll flip that open and see if we can see anything inside of here. Yeah, you can kind of see how that lever runs in there and runs this little mechanism that runs the hydraulic pump. Pretty simple, pretty basic machine, which is I think what a lot of people want, simple and basic. I have the Love DZ32 temperature controller set. The top part is actually for mold heaters. I had some cartridge heaters in the mold I tried to build, and those were controlled by that top circuit. Right now that's actually shut off. We're just running the bottom circuit, and you can see the temperature slowly climbing. It's been on for probably about 10 minutes now while I've been getting the camera set up. I'm going to get up to temperature here, and then I will show the machine in action with the ram, the hydraulic ram pushing on the pellets. Right now it's got, I actually don't remember, I think it's polypropylene. I had a guy that was interested in buying it that brought over some pellets that he was using for his project, and we purged out the ABS I had in there, and I believe he put polypropylene in it. So whatever it is, you'd want to purge that before you run something else through it. You can see the gauge is just kind of hanging on the side of the machine here. I can't get any closer than this. This is part of my problem with this machine is with my wheelchair and my big feet, I can't get in close enough to actually operate it. So I have to lean around and reach with my arm, and yeah, it's not easy for me. Somebody standing upright could just walk right over this thing and have no trouble using it whatsoever. Here in the middle, this is a metal box that's actually around the heated barrel itself. The heated barrel runs up through the center, has a band heater around it. So I also have the original heater that was on it when I bought it. I had trouble getting this one up to temperature, and I'll be honest, I don't really think I gave it a lot of effort. When I opened up and I saw this, I thought this was just a resistive heating element. Now I actually believe it might actually be an inductive heater that would bring it up to temperature a lot faster. That'll go on the deal with anybody who buys this machine. There's also the springs in here that the heated barrel sits on. There's 2 sliders in here, which I can't tell if you can see in the camera or not. The barrel itself, let me try to move the camera here a little bit more. The barrel itself, there you go, you can see it now. The barrel's sitting on the little bases right now. Those springs are supposed to be between the heated barrel and the base of the machine. And those control, those would hold the heated nozzle off of the mold to open and close it. Again, something I just didn't understand when I first bought this machine. The springs will be included. That's basically all the factory parts that I've taken off that I'll be tossing in with it though. I don't have the original wiring or the original, like, it was basically an oven style controller for this, which it could be turned back to. Those were in really bad condition. The cloth insulation on the wires was just falling off. So I took all that out and put new wires, new braided steel wires in, just so they'd be a little more protected. I'm going to pan the camera up here for a second and show you the feed mechanism that I had set up is this tube. It's a bent aluminum tube that drops down, and it still has the original little funnel on the top of the, sorry for all the wobbling around there. It still has the barrel on the, or the little funnel on the top of the heated block, the factory, I believe that's factory funnel. I just drilled a couple holes, I guess, and mounted that down to, I was eventually going to build a hopper up there with controlled shot size drop. And I just never did that because I never really got the machine fully functional. So the machine's up to temperature now. I'm going to show the nozzle actually flowing. You can see in that video part of the issue I was having. The material I was using was ABS plastic, and from what I understand now, it actually had some water in it. It must have been moist, and so what you see in the bubbling there is actually the moisture in the ABS. A guy who was interested in this locally looked at it, and he brought over some polypropylene, and that flowed much, much smoother through it. I just didn't have any of that to show off, so this is the ABS. I still have pressure on the piston, that's why it's continuing to run. I just shut it off to talk about why it wasn't flowing as smooth as what you would hope. It's also a reason that I didn't know what I was doing when I got into this project, and the ABS was not easy to use on a plunger type machine like this. After purging through some of the old material, you can see how much better it's flowing now. A nice steady stream. Still a lot of little air bubbles in it though, so I wouldn't recommend this machine for injecting ABS plastic.